This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
I think if you had asked me about this, I would have said, I have never seen that, and I've never seen that done, and it was done in the NFL game last night, and it's pretty cool. But there was a 57-yard free kick before halftime last night by the Los Angeles Chargers. The Denver Broncos were flagged for interference on a fair catch. Okay, so that advanced the ball 15 yards for the Chargers. I think everybody thought, okay, well, here we come. There's the ubiquitous, Hail Mary or take a knee. Or you can try a free kick. Now, unbeknownst to probably to almost everybody, it was kind of one of those things where you wouldn't have thought that this would be in Jim Harbaugh's back pocket always, but it was. So he had the first free kick, a 57-yard kick for a field goal by Cameron Dicker. It's the first free kick in the NFL since 1976.
It's been a while.
And Harbaugh afterwards was asked about it. Apparently, this is something that he's tried before. He did that with the 49ers. Tried a 71-yard field goal with Phil Dawson, who ironically was also a former Texas Longhorn kicker. And Chargers go on to win the ball game over the Broncos last night, 34-27, and kind of propelled them a little bit because it looked like they were going to be down 21-10, and as a result, they're down 21-13, and gave them a little momentum going into halftime. But how about that for an oddity?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And apparently, Harbaugh's like, he plans for this, and he's like, he said it was kind of something that he looks to do and has wanted to do, and I just thought that was kind of wild. That and then they coach this and they plan for this in their practices. So maybe you'll see some other teams do this now too, because some players didn't even know about it. Which is not that hard to believe, right? That could take place, but and it's the longest kick for a free kick since Paul Hornung did it for the Green Bay Packers in 1962 at 57 yards. It's crazy. So. Cameron Dicker said it was awesome. It was funny to be in that scenario and be like, there's no lineup there because there's no rush on it. It's just a free kick field goal. And Harbaugh said it's his favorite rule in football. He'd been wanting to do it all season long. So anyway, that was and for the Chargers, I mean that's a big win for them over a Denver Bronco team, because now those teams are both 9-6. So there's probably some playoff ramifications.
You would think so.
With regard to that, yeah.
Because they're both in the mix, definitely.
No question. No question. All right, so today on 100.7 The Score, we'll have the Cure Bowl. That'll be at 11 o'clock this morning. And then we'll have Lubbock Cooper girls and boys basketball at 4 and at 6:30 respectively as they travel to take on Tascosa. Tascosa, a really good team. They, at least on the girls' side. I'm not sure about the boys' side, but the girls' side, they're really good, aren't they?
Yes, they are very good.
I mean, they knocked off Monterey last week.
Mm-hmm.
So you would, look at that and go, "Oh, to beat them, it's got to be, got to be a pretty good team."
There's a big one in town today with Amarillo and Monterey playing each other as well.
Okay,
that's a huge matchup in that district.
Is that at the box? The new box?
I think it's at Monterey.
Yeah, the new box, yeah. The Cure Bowl features Jacksonville State at 9-4 and Ohio at 10-3. What are you looking forward to, like tonight with Indiana and Notre Dame? Would it shock you if Indiana won tonight?
I'd be surprised. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
I mean, both teams are 11-1 on the season. This game is at Notre Dame. It's a night game. And you just kind of wonder, with regard to Indiana, what kind of firepower do they have against a team like Notre Dame? The matchup predictor by ESPN, if you buy into these things, has it 70.4% for Notre Dame and 29.6% for Indiana.
Yeah, that's probably where I would go. I might even go a little bit higher, maybe a 3-1.
Okay.
For Indiana.
And then when you kind of look at Indiana's schedule, and I think that's what people have kind of taken shots at from time to time. I mean, they did beat Nebraska. They did beat Washington, a team that played for the national championship last year, although obviously different players.
Different team.
Yeah, different team. Same with Michigan State. Same with Michigan, team that won. They lost to Ohio State 38-15, and then beat Purdue 66-0. So they had big wins.
Big wins in name.
In name,
not in who they are.
Yeah,
this year.
And what I was going to say too is big wins in score disparity. Like they beat UCLA 42-13, but I mean on paper, when you look at their team, they didn't have much. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes with, some of these other schools that they beat. But you can only play the schools that are on your schedule too. So I mean, hell, if we were 11-1, we'd be like, hey, we got a chance against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of how I look at that. And then tomorrow, things on the college football side: SMU, Penn State, Clemson, Texas, and Tennessee, Ohio State. Do you expect all the home teams to win tomorrow?
Yeah, I guess so.
So Penn State's at home, Texas is at home, and Ohio State's at home. Which game of these four playoff games will be the closest, do you think?
I guess the Tennessee-Ohio State game would be the one.
Okay, and see, I was leaning to SMU and Penn State.
Okay. Maybe because Penn State doesn't really run away from everybody with their offense. Yeah. So, maybe so.
SMU's got some firepower to them.
Sure.
But Penn State's going to, what's going to happen. Defensively, they're going to be really, really strong. It'll be interesting to see if offense versus defense, who wins out. And generally speaking, it's defense, but we'll see.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Here on the Morning Drive, time for this day in sports history. It is the 20th day of December, 2024. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Starting in 1921, the American League votes to return to a best-of-7 World Series. The National League votes for a best-of-9. Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis cast the deciding vote, and we retain the best-of-7 World Series, as it should be. 1940, Connie Mack acquires controlling interest in the Athletics for $42,000. If you translate that to today's money, I bet he could have bought the payroll for this last year's team. 1966, NBA awards the Seattle Supersonics a franchise for the 1967-68 season. That's a team that needs to come back. Or once a season, Oklahoma State needs to wear those uniforms. Oklahoma City needs to wear those uniforms. One of the two. That's a green and gold we approve of.
Okay.
1983, Guy Lafleur, Montreal Canadian, becomes the 10th NHLer to score 500 goals.
It's Guy, but it's Guy Lafleur.
Is it Guy Lafleur?
Yeah. It's I know that's spelled G-U-Y, but it's Guy.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
Guy.
1985, sportscaster Howard Cosell retires from television sports after 20 years with ABC. And Chuck cried.
He was one of those guys I loved him on Monday Night Football. I hated him on baseball. But he was one of those love to hate guys. But I was sad to see him go, yeah. I didn't know if I cried, but sad to see him go.
2008, Alan Voskuhl scored 28 points, including 6 field goals from behind the arc to lead Texas Tech past New Mexico 86-78. And in 2023, this is probably the last time we're going to mention this. At 8:41 a.m., Micah Hudson signs his national letter of intent to join Texas Tech football as the first ever 5-star recruit.
How'd that work out?
8 catches, 100 yards?
I think 123 maybe.
No. What did we spend for each one of those 8 catches? Or what did somebody spend?
I think $100,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Per catch.
Per catch.
Right.
Yeah.
It is National Sangria Day.
Are you a fan of the sangria?
I'm not a fan of wine, like just in general. And sangria is just a different type of wine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Spanish-based and fruit-based.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I would, if somebody made homemade sangria, would I accept a glass? Yes, but it's not something I'm going to go seek out.
Yeah, you're not going to, when you go to the concession stand at the baseball game, let me have some sangria.
No, that's just a dog and a beer.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't have to be fancy at a baseball game. Happy birthday, Jonah Hill, 41, David Wright, 42. Dane Dunning turns 30 today. James Shields.
Happy birthday, Dane?
Does that make you feel old that Dane Dunning's 30?
No, I don't remember him when he was younger.
Okay.
I would have guessed he was older than 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not like a ton older, but not been 29 last year.
I don't know that I knew who Dane Dunning was before like 2 years ago.
Okay. All right.
Did you know him when he was 18 or something?
No.
Okay.
I just...
James Shields, 43. Calvin Ridley is 30. Rich Gannon, 59. And Dick Wolf, 78. The producer of Law and Order.
Dun dun.
Yeah.
Man, that guy has banged out the series, hasn't he?
We like to call him Low Did. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Loaded. Yeah.
Loaded. Sounds like a rapper.
And on this day, 1989, the United States invades Panama in an attempt to overthrow military dictator Manuel Noriega, who had been indicted in the United States on drug trafficking charges and was accused of suppressing democracy in Panama and endangering U.S. nationals. Noriega's Panamanian Defensive Forces, the PDF, that's weird to look at in this context, were promptly crushed, forcing the dictator to seek asylum with the Vatican in Panama City, where he surrendered on January 3rd, 1990. And that is This Day in Sports History.
All right, This Day in Sports History. I have a birthday. Tomorrow is our youngest grandson, Nehemiah Parker, known as Maya, known as Little Phenom. It is his 5th birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday to Maya.
Happy birthday, Nehemiah.
Happy birthday, Nehemiah. So that'll be tomorrow. He's all charged up. He's ready to go. He can tell you that he can do it, too. He could do whatever. He can do it.
I thought he was Boy Wonder.
We went to Little. He wanted to be a phenom, so he's Little Phenom. He wanted to be a phenom.
No blood. No blood, Jeff. Just there's no blood with those kids. Got to keep remembering that.
He wanted to be a phenom, so he's a Little Phenom. But yeah, he was. But we made a change upon his request.
No blood. Not a drop. Not even a little. Case study in nature versus nurture, right here, folks.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. 6:51 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thanks for being with us. Thoughts, comments, the 8 Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. The mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. To speak about what you just said there, I found a picture of me at 12, and I had a turtleneck on, by the way. And the resemblance between me and the oldest is somewhat there. And you go, how does that happen? But nurture over nature, right? That's what you said.
Well, the looks aren't where that comes from.
the behavior.
The looks are absolutely genetic.
Yeah.
You had no part in that. The the how you act,
The behavior.
how you behave,
Yeah.
things that you do, things
Right.
that you find interesting.
Right.
That is nurture. That's the nature versus nurture. What's more important?
Yeah. I think the nurture is more important. 6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. We'll have Red Raider basketball on the air for you tomorrow at 11, and they take on Lamar at high noon. So last tune-up for the men, and their next action after tomorrow will be on New Year's Eve against UCF. I just think that's seems like a long layoff to me. And the women are going to have something similar. They'll play on Sunday against Houston. We'll have that at 1:30 on 107.7, the Red Dirt Rebel, 2 o'clock tip. And they won't play again until January 1st in Tempe against Arizona State. And that, too, seems to me like a long layoff. And I wonder, but part of this is the calendar, with Christmas falling on a Wednesday and middle of the week and all that kind of stuff.
It's funky this year.
It is. It is. But it just seems like, okay, because for the men, you're going to play your first Big 12 game after, basically a 9-day layoff. Now, are they going to be practicing? Of course. Are they going to be getting shots up? Of course. But, 9 days seems like an eternity. We always talk about that a little bit, especially when it comes to baseball playoff time, in the major leagues where, a team wins the division and doesn't have to worry about the wild card round because they've gotten the bye. And so they sit and they sit and they sit and they sit and they sit, right? Mm-hmm. And then you wait and then you kind of come out sluggish or slow or heavy legs or whatever. And it kind of takes you a little bit of time to get back into game speed. I'm sure they'll have all these simulated practices and things like that, but there's nothing like an actual game. So I think, for the men, it's like, okay, they're fighting a little bit of Santa Claus tomorrow with regard to making sure that they can get out of town and get to wherever they're going to go for Christmas. And for the women, it's game on. It's serious stuff on Sunday at United Supermarkets Arena.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Week from tonight, it's the Liberty Bowl from Memphis, Tennessee. So you were there like 2 years ago, right? Or when Tech played against Mississippi State?
Yeah, it was a good bowl.
Yeah. Did you get to enjoy any of Memphis at all, or just see the hotel and the stadium pretty much?
I felt like I did, as far as I walked a ton around the city and I took a picture in front of the Elvis statue.
Okay.
And, hung out by the river. I walked, just because I wanted to see the city and all that good stuff. So I felt like I saw a lot of it. I'm not going to try to tell you I tapped into the nightlife or tasted their finest cuisine or anything.
Well, it's barbecue, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I saw a lot of it.
Okay, well, that's
cool.
That's good. That's cuisine. The cuisine of Memphis is, I think it's just, they're pretty proud of their barbecue there too. So, it's
get in line.
Right, get in line. That's right.
Well, who's not, right?
Right.
The whole state of Texas, Kansas City, Memphis.
That's right.
Everybody does it the best.
Houston,
right?
Yeah, Houston, which is Texas, but I'm just.
Last I checked.
Last you checked, right? Yeah. Let's see. I want to see where I want to start here. I think I want to start with this because we talked about this quite a bit yesterday, and Joey McGuire had quite a few comments on the junior college eligibility rule. There's no new rule yet. It's one judge's ruling that gives a guy some eligibility, but it probably could be appealed. And this is the guy that's trying to get some extra eligibility at Vanderbilt or play somewhere else, and he's looking for $1 million to play quarterback. But here's Joey McGuire on this whole JUCO issue.
Yeah, all this is hurting high school recruiting more and more. I was really shocked with that. It makes no sense to me that was passed, but we're not going to not try to take advantage of it. Every rule that comes up, you got to find a way that it can help your team. But I was really shocked. I struggle with that because I really don't understand. But it wasn't like that. A JUCO can limit you from having an NIL like that. So some of this stuff, you have a lot of people making decisions that really, I don't know, understand everything about what's going on. But it's okay. I mean, like, again, if that's going to be the rule, then we're going to find a way to take advantage of it. And it could be that we keep a really good football player in Davion Carter. And so we'll see.
Yeah, that was the thing that was.
I guess that's the only guy that's
currently affected by them.
Yeah, for them, that's a JUCO. That was a JUCO guy that it could help. Yeah.
At the very end of his comments there, because he's the guy that's a long speaker. He said this, and I think you could relate to this. He said, "At what point does it end? At what point does it end?"
When somebody gets the backbone and guts to stand up to these student athletes. Yeah. Okay, whether that be a judge, whether that be the NCAA, whether it be the coaches and athletic directors. I mean, somebody has the guts to stand up to them.
Yeah, because for years you did, and now your fear of litigation has overtaken everything.
For years you were over the top on one way. And now it's gone over the top the other way.
Yeah, the pendulum has completely swung the other way. Coach McGuire has also asked which portal players that are in the portal for Texas Tech will play in the game against Arkansas.
But my philosophy is everybody that's on this football team from the 2024, they earn the right to play in this game. And so if they choose to play in this game, I'm going to back it. And, because what we're trying to do, number one, we're trying to win this game. And we're trying to end 2024 on a great note. They were a part of that. They helped us get to where we're at. And so after that, some guys are going to be leaving, and I'm going to be a part of their life for the rest of their life and wish them luck. But, right now, like Brady's been practicing, Jordan's been practicing, Trey McAlpin's been practicing. They've all told me that they're going to play in the bowl game. Caden Carr. Drake Strong's playing in the game, so he's our number 2 quarterback. Our number 3 quarterback is Jalen Conyers. So y'all have seen Jalen, so that package has grown a lot, so I'm excited about that. So the majority of our guys that are in the portal are going to play in the bowl game.
And he talked quite a bit yesterday, too, about Loic Fouonji from last year, who had gone into the portal and then caught a touchdown pass in that game in the Independence Bowl against Cal. And then he said that they paid for him to go to school in the spring of that year, of last year, so that he could graduate from Texas Tech and be a Red Raider. And so obviously Loic Fouonji kind of handled his business the way you would expect people to, right?
Yeah, I think it speaks to Coach McGuire and the coaching staff, too, if the guys that, hey, I want to transfer out or whatever, but it's not like I'm furious with them. I blame this all on you.
Right.
They're just looking for a situation where they can get a better chance to play. I assume that's why most of the guys are leaving, and it's not a money reason or whatever, and so they're looking for a chance to play, but there's no bitterness towards Coach McGuire and the coaches.
Right.
Or their teammates. And I think that speaks highly of Coach McGuire.
Yeah, I think that's the approach that they've taken, and that probably endears you to the players that are staying, because these guys have relationships with these guys that are coming and going, and probably also helps you kind of moving forward to be able to tell that story to future guys going, hey, if you come here and find out it doesn't work for you, all you have to do is be transparent. I'm going to be transparent with you, and just come in and have a conversation and tell me about him. He also said, with regard to what's coming up in the future with 105 being on the roster, he said that they have had conversations with their players, and that they have been transparent with their players, because there's some guys that are going to kind of roll the dice, so to speak, and see if they can still make the roster and stay with Tech through the spring, and then see what happens to them after that. And there'll be some guys that self-cut themselves and make a decision and go, hey, it doesn't look like there's going to be a spot for me, so I'm going to go on. But it sounded like that he feels like, from his standpoint, that they've been transparent with their players that are, quote, on the bubble, or about what their status is, or what they're going to need to do to get more playing time, and all that type of stuff. One one last thing from Coach McGuire. He was asked about the number of portal players they're going to take and the portal needs that they have yet to get. Okay, we don't quite have...
You didn't have that one for me. Give me a second. Number of portal players. Hang on right now.
Yeah, it starts out with a statement, I will. I almost wore a shirt that Zane made me that actually has the tweet, I will, and Cody's picture here and everything like that. You know, some of the change was losing guys, you know, like whenever you're sitting there and you're like, hey, we're good here, and then all of a sudden we lose a guy, and it's like, okay, we have a spot. There's a really good player here. It helps us. So that's kind of been it, you know, just to give you an idea where we're at. You know, we want a kicker and we want to run it back, and then we'll take a big, deep breath, reevaluate where we're at, and feel like we're in a good spot. But those are the two.
And they got their running back last night, and you can keep up with all of the transfers coming and going. All you have to do is go to doubletsportsnetwork.com, and you'll see it right there at the very top. Every transfer portal move in and out of the Texas Tech program, including one from last night. Quentin Joyner from USC has committed to Texas Tech. So he becomes the 16th, and now you go look for a kicker. And I don't know what the kicking prospects are out there, but I'm sure they can find one.
I would guess so.
You know, if you can find all these other guys, it would seem like a kicker would be the easiest thing to find, right?
Well, not the easiest thing in the world to do. There are probably less kickers across the country than
edge rushers,
than other football players. Yeah.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Nice, laid back and fun.
Hopeful.
I have a very difficult question for you today.
Okay.
I do not think that there is, or I do not, in my mind, have a signature Texas Tech bowl play. I want you to tell me what is your favorite play for Texas Tech in a bowl game. Not your favorite game, not your favorite memory. What play is your favorite play in Texas Tech bowl history? I feel like the ones that stick in my mind are negative ones. Alabama's field goal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And moments, not plays.
Yeah, not Cliff playing with the band after the Tangerine Bowl.
Yeah.
Favorite play in a bowl game.
Or in 2009 when all the players were surrounded by Ruff after the win.
Yeah.
Like that was huge for what that meant.
There's one in my mind that sticks out that I think can remember being the happiest. And that was Trelika's 52-yard field goal in the Insight Bowl to tie it basically at the buzzer. You know, at the end of regulation, and thinking to myself, there's no way we're losing this game. We've just made this massive comeback, you know, and you would later score a touchdown to win it in overtime. But Trelika's kick, that drive was awesome. And, you know, Robert Johnson had the catch that he's able to somehow get around a couple defenders, get up the field, and get out of bounds was massive. And then, you know, Harrell was terrific. And then Trelika drilled the kick to tie it. That's my favorite, I think, my favorite one play for the Red Raiders in the 2006 Insight Bowl.
Okay, I can't think of the specific play, but it seems to me, yeah, okay. Yeah. I think the 2008 Gator Bowl for me. Tech wins the game on a last-second field goal to win it 31-28. You had to score 17 points in the fourth quarter to overcome another deficit in a bowl game to win. The MVP was Graham Harrell. I was trying to think about a defensive play in that game that seemed to be really large towards the end of the game.
You know what I remember in that game? You're going to laugh at me here. I don't remember who our punter was. But there was a play where it was like a bad snap or something. And it looked like, oh, they're about to block this punt. and he scoops it up and he punts it left-footed.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I thought it was like the most, I don't know, athletic play I'd ever seen from a punter. It was so good. He punted it left, and it ended up only going like 30 yards or whatever, but it felt like it was about to be blocked and be a safety or a touchdown for Virginia.
Okay, so here's somebody refers to a Crabtree catch, and then like I said, the 17 points, and that was in the last 5 minutes of the game. So Crabtree gets a touchdown to make it 28-21. On Virginia's ensuing drive, the quarterback was sacked and fumbled. This is the defensive play I guess I'm thinking about. It sets up a one-play drive for Texas Tech, which is a 4-yard touchdown run for Aaron Crawford. Again, Virginia unable to pick up a first down, and Tech drives to the 24-yard line, and Trelico kicks the winning field goal from 41 yards out with 2 seconds left. So I was thinking about this. I think that fumble is what I'm thinking about.
Wasn't that the game that we had 2 intentional groundings in the end zone for safeties against us? On Harrell. Am I remembering that correctly?
Okay, so Virginia scores 9 points in the first, and I don't have the scoring summary here. Somebody says, I think that Gator Bowl was the sack fumble for sure that you're talking about, Chuck. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. That's what stands to kind of. There was a defensive play, and I think that's what it is, because that was a huge play in the football game, because it still didn't necessarily look like you were gonna win it. Jeff, do you have a play in mind?
I really don't. This is hard. I don't think of bowl games that way, although a million games do, like in the regular season.
How about...
There's at least one intentional grounding in the end zone.
I was thinking...
there's Jamar Wall interception. There's...
What
touchdown.
Bowl game was that in?
The
Vincent Meeks interception in the Holiday Bowl is one.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Is one that I always remember.
Okay, so...
I feel like that was a huge play and helping. If I remember correctly, we were down and that turned it around. We took the lead after that and never gave it up.
There were 2 safeties in that Gator Bowl. So you're 2 safeties, including Harrell being called for intentional grounding.
Okay, so it was just one intentional grounding.
But you're right about the safeties. There were 2 of them.
It's crazy. How many games have you seen a team give up 2 safeties in one game?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just bowl games for me are always they're a bracket by themselves. Like, it's not like they get. I can't even tell you where they all played all of the Tech Bowl games, but
you're allowed to have big plays in those games that help you win. But it just feels like to me, and that's kind of why I've told you guys I thought it was a difficult question, is there's no like signature play in a bowl game in Tech history.
Well, here's the problem too, is that between 93 and 2001, which is the end of Spike and the start of Mike, you lost 6 of 7 bowl games, including 4 in a row.
Okay, but we've won a whole bunch in a row.
I know.
Or not in a row, but since 2010, we've won a whole bunch, and there's no like signature play. You've won
your last 3, and last year you won 34-14. The Texas Bowl, you won 42-25. You won the Liberty Bowl 34-7. Then you had back-to-back losses in the Birmingham Bowl and the Texas Bowl.
You've won 12 out of your last 16.
Okay. Somebody brings this point up: when Graham Harrell totally runs out of gas running the field against Mississippi in the Cotton Bowl.
God, I do remember that.
I do remember that.
That's not a positive one.
It wasn't. It wasn't a positive because you lost that game 47-34.
Well,
no, but that is a memory.
He didn't score.
I know that.
I mean, he couldn't get in the end zone, and he tried to get out of bounds, and he got there too late, but he was dying. That's funny. I'll never forget that play, but it was run.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio here in downtown Lubbock, and look forward to hearing from you today on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Today's the last day of school for many for a couple of weeks, so it'll be good for everybody to get a little bit of a break. So keep that in mind, because there'll be people all around these elementary and middle schools, and pulling kids out, going to lunch, all that kind of stuff.
I wouldn't guess most schools have a full day. I wouldn't guess, but maybe I'm wrong. Probably some don't even have school today.
Right. And some, are already out, like you said. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then there's distracted people at work too. I mean, you're trying to figure out what the next 2 weeks are going to be like, and that they're not going to be much. Well, just shut everything down for 2 weeks. Turn everything off.
Cool. See you later.
Did he turn off our mics?
He did. Turned everything off. He had the light switch. He had 1 foot out the door.
You said we could go home.
No. I have no power here. Remember that.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
I have no.
But you said we could go home. I have it on tape, right there.
I said, just shut it down for a couple of weeks and just kind of see what happens. Be like the Europeans. Just we're on holiday. Just gonna turn everything off, and we'll figure it out when we get back after the first of the year. Mm-hmm. The first Monday after New Year's. Slick says this: kids get out at 12:30 today for LISD. Okay, well, good for them. Good for them. And I'll be excited and all those kinds of things, just to, get out of school, and anticipation of Christmas and everything along those lines as well. So remember, you have distracted parents too.
Fun times.
Yeah, fun times. That's what it's supposed to be. And and
the kids are excited. The first ever bracket in the history of ever gets used tonight. I mean, it's like, everybody will be in front of the TV going, "What is this? Yeah. How does this work?"
Right. How's this? What are we doing here?
How does this work? So if you win, you move forward and play another team?
Yeah. But it does seem so strange to be here in right before Christmas, and you have truly many meaningful college games going on. I mean, I'm not saying that the other games are meaningless. I'm not, but I mean,
don't start that fire.
I know, right? But what I'm saying is just that you're not used to right here before Christmas of, hey, this is a win or go home game tonight for Indiana and Notre Dame. It's a win or go home for SMU, Penn State, Clemson, Texas, and Tennessee and Ohio State.
Well, our game next Friday is a win and go home.
It is a win, win or lose and go home, right? Yeah, no, you're right. You're right about that. But it kind of feels like, in a way, given all the portal activity that you've had, that the bowl game is anticlimactic
compared to the portal stuff.
Yeah.
I made a statement to Choice and Clint the other day that no matter what happens on next Friday, draw up a scenario that it changes like your excitement towards next year.
Yeah.
There's what could change. I mean, I don't, even if Will Hammond was bad, you're like, well, Barron's the starter, right?
Yeah. I mean,
what is it just feels like no matter what happens in this bowl game, so that your fan base, your program as a whole is heading towards next year feeling like we should be a top 4 team in the Big 12.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, very much so. Very much so. In fact, this media event, this press conference that they had for Coach McGuire yesterday was really to preview the Liberty Bowl, okay? And there was a question asked about the Arkansas quarterback, okay? And then it was like portal. And there was a question about Taj, but it was like portal this, portal. And finally at the end, I'm like going, well,
This is the last time we're going to talk to you before the game. Can we hear about the game, please?
Can you tell me so I asked him some questions about what concerns him about, the Arkansas defense and, tell me, what do you see in Will Hammond and, what blah, 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 blah. So we got some stuff for Arkansas for next week, but man, far be it from me to be the one that's like, hey, can we talk a little football here? Can we talk about the game a little bit? But we got it in. We got it in, Coach. So we'll be all right. I'm talking about Coach Lynn over here, not Coach McGuire.
Yeah.
And I get everybody's looking for updates on the portal.
Sure.
That's the big thing right now. Totally understand. Sometimes we, the media, get distracted by the bright, shiny object and forget the reason why we're at the press conference or why the press conference is being held.
He also... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think they forgot the reason they were at the press conference. I mean, they were asking questions that they felt were pertinent right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
they're not thinking about a week from now.
And what people want to know, frankly, what everybody around them is talking about, what the fans are talking about, what the people that are interested in the program are talking about. They're talking about these now 16 guys that are going to be Red Raiders.
You forget that I wasn't allowed at those press conferences this year. We don't always ask about questions that need to be asked at those press conferences.
He did quote you, Jamie, though, in the...
He quoted me.
He quoted you.
Did he say Jamie Lent even says this?
He did not, but I thought...
He didn't even know Jamie Lent exists.
I immediately thought of Jamie when he said it was a great day to be a Red Raider. I'm like, okay, so quoting Jamie. So I felt like that he was...
Yes,
felt like he was quoting you.
I'll be waiting for my check that's in the mail. I get
right.
It's 17 cents every time somebody else says it. I get
it's every time.
Every time somebody else says it. Hey, you now owe me 18 cents. It's 18 cents for every time.
Well, that one's sponsored, so that one's got the higher fee on it.
The other thing that was interesting to me is he talked about both coordinators, the ones that you've hired for real, moving on, not the interims. Have been at every practice, and he said for a second time, which I just find very interesting, evaluating coaches and evaluating players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm a coach and you're like,
I hear that, I'm a little nervous.
I'm working 100 hours a week. I'm trying to recruit guys. I'm trying to coach guys. I'm trying to, get my wife something for Christmas or my kids, and then all of a sudden, we're evaluating coaches too. Oh, they better be up there at 4 a.m. this morning instead of 5.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.